Coach and Counselor explores how today's youth benefit from intentional, empowering adult leadership. Each episode blends perspectives from coaches, mentors, players, and mental health professionals, shaping the next generation on and off the field. From tough conversations to inspiring transformations, we dive into what it takes to support young people in today's world. Welcome to the Coach and Counselor. We have Luke Goodgion on our podcast here today. Seattle native with an unconventional route to pro ball, something you'll never hear this again. Injured and completely out of baseball from ages 18 to 21 with a broken elbow, a retina detachment, and an ankle injury. Career should be over at that point, but somehow
it was.
Yeah, exactly, it was. Somehow walks on to Green River Community College. From there, earns a full ride to Lewis and Clark State, which is a powerhouse NAIA school. From there, drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2012. Plays in Japan after that with the Shinano Grand Seirers. Say that. Hi, Luke. How do you say that?
Grand Ceros.
Grand Ceros.
Yep.
Grand Ceros.
Mountain Goat.
The Grand Ceros Mountain Goat. We're gonna have to put that in here. Give everyone a visual. Played there in 2014 and then tore his rotator cuff, officially ending his career at that point. Moves to Colorado to begin coaching and training, and has been doing that, coaching and training for the last 10 years, and has had the honor of working with over 100 players to move on to college athletics and dozens more to the professional ranks. Currently, Luke's a general manager of Infinite Hitting in Louisville, which is a baseball and softball training facility in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Luke, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
That was a fun intro. Please, let's rewind. Tell me how the heck you have all those injuries, broken elbow, retina detachment, completely out of baseball, and are able to get back. How in the heck does that happen?
Yeah, 18, like five days before the draft. I was a really skinny lefty, throwing low 90s. I was getting looked at pretty heavily. And that's when I broke my elbow, is right before the draft. So
how did you do that?
Middle of the pitch. There was 30 scouts in the stands. I was pitching for a college team, Kitsap Blue Jackets. And first pitch I threw in that game, pop, 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 snap, snap, snap. And yeah, I fractured my olecranon process on that pitch. And put me in a cast for 3-4 months, started getting to the rehab thing. Was working my way back in baseball, hit my head on a chandelier, detached my retina. That took me out, and I was blind for 6 months. And that took me out. And then I was trying to get back in shape, was playing some basketball, doing my thing, and ruptured my tendon in my ankle. And it was just like back to back. And I was like, man, I need to just slow down, take a break, wrap myself up in some bubble wrap. Like,
Yeah,
I need to relax. So, when I turned 21, I just kind of had like a self-reflection thing. Like, man, like I was 18, I was about to get drafted. Like, I had all these dreams that when I was 21, I was going to be in pro ball, going to be doing this, doing that. So I was like, I'm feeling healthy. I can throw a baseball now. I can see, like I can walk, I can run. So let's go give this baseball thing another shot. So I started getting after in the gym, walked onto the JUCO. Actually walked on as an outfielder because I was terrified to pitch and hurt myself again. Well, we had a great coaching staff there. They're like, hey, Luke, you got a really good left-handed arm. Have you tried pitching before? And I was like, man, I told my story, and they're like, all right, well, we'll take care of you. Like, just trust the process, keep working hard. Like, if you work really hard at this, you might be able to go get school paid for and maybe even make some money in this game.
So that's also a polite way of saying you were a terrible outfielder and a terrible hitter.
Yeah,
probably,
exactly.
Right?
Like, yeah, give me that bat back, please. That's why I took it away from you in the first place. So it was, so I just bought into the process. And at that junior college, broke the JUCO strikeout record that year. Earned a full ride to Lewis Clark State. and then ultimately got drafted by Tampa Bay. So it was just a lot of grit, a lot of hard work, um, and just really just trusting the process. So
Any like any reason that you found out maybe after the fact of why you had all those injuries at the time? Any vitamin deficiencies or just massive growth in a short amount of time, or like what happened?
it was definitely massive growth in a short amount of time. I was a late my junior year. I was 5'7", 150 pounds. Senior year grew to 6'4", 200 pounds, and that's where
Wow.
I started throwing hard. Like everything kind of started showing up real fast. I definitely did not have the muscle mass and the system to support that. So I was a yeah late bloomer. I was a twig. It was
Yeah.
you would not recognize me back then, Tony.
So arm moved fast, you threw hard, but the body wasn't prepared for what it was, what you were putting it through.
Yeah,
All right, so then, all right, I got to ask you. I'm looking at these stats. You get drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays in 2012, and I'm looking on Baseball Reference right here, and you have a 1.8 ERA. You pitched 25 innings, strike out 22 guys, only walk eight. Your whip's basically one flat. Like, why in the world did you get released?
I had a great first year at at that rookie ball. Actually, they gave me some honorable mentions, the Tampa Bay Rays, for that rookie ball season. Got invited back to spring training. Show up to spring training. There's I don't know if you know a kid named Blake Snell, but 19-year-old Blake
Yeah.
Snell was at spring training, and I get partnered up with him for a lot of stuff. Get grouped up with him because we're both left-handed pitchers, very similar stuff. Both Seattle guys too, so spent a lot of time with him in spring training, and every day he just whooped my butt. Like he showed why he was the dog, um, and it was just tough. He was a great competitor, great kid, great worker. But competing with him day in and day out when he was, that was his second, third year, um, with Tampa Bay, and he was trying to get out of that single A that he was kind of stuck in. So he knew he had to show up, and he showed up and really took all of our jobs. All of us lefties that were in that group got released at the end of spring training, and Blake just kind of skyrocketed up the.
Yeah, I get that. I hear that, but you still had a 1.8, right? You still were good. I mean,
Yeah,
comparing, yes, I get it, right? Comparing you to him, totally different animal, but there's plenty of need in Major League Baseball for, 6 foot plus left-handers throwing, low 90s.
yeah.
Why, like any reason?
What they told me on my like release meeting was, you're 23 years old. I was 23 at the time, because I had gone through all those injuries and whatnot. So, like, if we're gonna bring you back, we bring you back to a single A team, and we need to spend some more time developing you. So we have these young bucks that are 19, 18, that we want to really spend their time in investing and developing those guys. So it was kind of the age. I was a late round draft pick. I didn't have a lot of money invested in me as far as like signing bonus and stuff like that. So um, it was it was weird, but I do definitely appreciate the opportunity to have that title going on, play professional baseball. Um, Actually, that after I got released on the way to the airport, I secured a contract with the Joliet Slammers, independent team in Chicago. Um, and that was actually what led me to Japan. So, kind of all ended up working out the way they was supposed to at the end of the day. So,
Yeah. Yeah, which is, I think interesting for the normal non-baseball people to hear, right? Is 23 years old is old,
yeah,
and in minor league baseball, right? Is like most guys are getting drafted at 18, 19, 20 years old. They're going to have 2, 3 years maybe of runway at that time to figure things out or not, and then a lot of guys are getting released by that 23-ish age range. So interesting to hear that, and I guess for you to live it, right?
yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me about your experience in Japan. I had the pleasure of going there, taking my son and coaching a team, and we were in Japan for 2 weeks through Caliendo Sports International, and it was a blast. It was amazing. I have my some fond memories of that cultural experience, let alone the baseball experience. Tell me about
Yeah,
yours.
did you guys end up going to a game while you're out there
We did,
with the
yes.
trumpets and the drums and the
It's
energy's insane. Like,
almost not even describable
it
compared to
was
compare.
absolutely incredible. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, food, best food in the world, nicest people in the world, cleanest place in the world. Um, yeah, I I carry a lot of Japan with me still because I was like, I mean, I was out there alone. Like, I was the only American on my team. I was living alone. Like, I was doing everything just by myself, just living the dream on a foreign country where I didn't speak the language. But my,
You stick out like a sore thumb. You're a foot taller than the average,
yeah, and I
right?
was in like middle of the mountain towns, like middle of nowhere. I didn't see anybody else that looked like me the entire time I was there, unless we were on a
Yeah,
field and they were on the other team. So,
yeah,
um, but yeah, great baseball experience, great life experience. Um, I I would have loved to continue that experience if I hadn't injured my arm. But um, anybody that has gone through, I would definitely recommend and advise like play professional baseball here. Like there's a lot of great professional, relationships to be made here. But if you do have an opportunity to go like in the back end of your playing career to go to Japan and play, absolutely do it. It's a one like nothing will ever replace that. So
yeah. There's also from the youth side of it too, like going there as a coach, let alone as a dad, let alone seeing your kid in that experience. There's some organizations like Caliendo Sports International. I think Japan Ball, it's called. Danny Hudson, runs some teams that go out there. So even if you're in that, I think it's around the 13-year-old range. That if you have an opportunity to go and do something like that, it's a life changing event.
oh yeah.
It's amazing. The baseball is amazing. The work ethic is amazing. As you said, the food, the culture, everything is fantastic and can be an incredible experience for you, especially if you love baseball.
Yes. Yeah, the
The,
people so nice.
speak of that though. Speak of the baseball work ethic in Japan.
Oh, it was a full-time job and then some and then some out. Like I mean we it was all day every day. I had one day off the entire time I was there and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go catch a bullet train and go to Tokyo. Like, nah, I'm just gonna sleep. Like that sounds really good for me. So I didn't really get to do any like touristy stuff when I was there. It was literally we were at the facility, we were at the field. I mean, in our team, we didn't necessarily have a home stadium. Like we were part of the Nagano prefecture or the Nagano state, and we had like 7 or 8 stadiums within our state that we would travel to play home games. And
Mm-hmm.
then like we'd play against the other prefectures or the other states, and so we were always moving and like always going on the go. So it was a lot, but at the same time, best baseball. Um, the the most competitive hitters I have ever faced in my life were those Japanese hitters. Like they they just put the bat on the ball and tough outs. I know I throw the best slider of my life and they foul it off. And I would and they would just fight pitches off and I would hear and watch my coach send our batters up to the plate and say telling them you need to go see 10 pitches this at bat. Foul off foul off as many pitches as you can so the pitcher forces you to throw him 10 or throw you 10 pitches. I was like, that's absolutely incredible that these Japanese hitters can just go up there with that plan and execute it every single time, and just
Just wear you out.
bro, and just
Yeah.
get worn out. So,
Yeah.
um,
All right. So career's over. Tell from the mental side of that, right? Like with coach and counselor, we really try to talk about not just the highlights of people's careers, but definitely there's struggles. Base any sport, right? Especially the higher level you go, it's not all about the rewards and the awards that you get. It's about overcoming retina injuries and broken elbows and everything else that goes along with it. And those were some of the physical things for you. But from the mental side of things, when your career ends, like, your life kind of flashes in front of you, I imagine. It did for me. Tell me about what went through your mind and how you overcame your career ending mentally.
yeah, I was lost, and sure, you're kind of in the same boat. Like that was it's a lifestyle, and that was day in day out. You're working out, you're with the team, that's your people, that's your life, and then that day it's over, and you're like, what? Man, what am I gonna do? So yeah, I was lost for a couple weeks. I was in Japan, so like when I got hurt, I was there alone for a week and just a mess. Like I was an absolute mess out there. So like had a lot of reflection, prayed, just was trying to figure out what my next step was. So because I knew there had to be something else. I wasn't really trusting, that my plan was gonna be I was gonna get another contract coming back. So um I'd always when I was going to school, I was going to school for teaching. So I was like, you know what, this is this is my next step, and I need to go back to school, get into teaching, get into coaching. That was always kind of my plan, post playing um, days. So moved back to Seattle. I actually worked for the University of Washington for their baseball summer camps when I got back, and then got a call to come to Colorado and start coaching out there with Rylan Reed at Impact Sports. And I appreciate Rylan for everything. He put me under his wing, and I mean, he gave me put me in a really good position to succeed out in Colorado. So, um, started going to school in Colorado. I don't know if you knew that, but I was enrolled to finish my degree, and but then the coaching got so busy, and just I fell in love with it, and it was amazing to, cold wind was the first lesson I ever did. Like I walked into Colorado and into that facility, and Ryan introduced me to cold wind. He's like, this kid wants to do pitching lessons. Why don't you work with him? And Cole ended up being a first round draft pick, playing the big leagues here. His brother works here at Infinite too, so I work with Kaysen every day. And we can see Cole every now and again while he's playing. So
That's awesome.
like that just kind of anchored, like that was the definitely the right move. And just being able to be involved in all these kids' lives for the last 10 years and seeing their careers flourish. And I mean, Kaysen has a family, has a baby. Like it's just really, really cool to see how these kids grow up, not only, in baseball, but in life, becoming husbands, becoming fathers, and things like that. So
So you found your true calling post career in your new career,
yes,
um, and you've landed in Dallas Fort Worth area and coaching with Infinite. So two-part question here. First, tell us everything about Infinite, what they have to offer, and why you landed there, why you like it there, and why you're the general manager of Infinite. But also, obviously, it seems like you've taken this path of being in development as opposed to being a coach. I don't think you're coaching a team right now. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
yeah, not
Why is
coaching a team at the moment. Yeah, it's been more time in the development space for sure.
Yeah. So answer the infinite question first, and then why is development so important to you, and why that's maybe kind of your calling over maybe just simply coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Infinite, we're baseball, softball, hitting training facility. Really heavy on lessons, and because we want to be able to have accountability with our kids. We spend a lot of time on the data and the technology side of things too. Um, because when we're talking about the next level of college and even pros, like they're looking for the numbers, they're looking for the videos, they're looking for all these things to match up so they can move on to those next levels. So we just spent a lot of time in that realm and also in the foundation realm too, because it doesn't matter how many lessons you take, how many teams you play for, the top teams that you're paying for, don't have the foundations of hard work, discipline, courage, humility, things like that. If that's not your foundation as a player and as a human, like the skill is never going to matter. So, because you're never going to really be able to build on that skill, and that skill will crumble when faced against adversity. So, um, beyond just training, skill and the right components and the right movements, we want to, like I said, we want to train young men to become great husbands, great fathers by giving them a culture of that kind of foundation where they can practice those things because we're going to challenge them with those things. That's the only way we practice it is if it's we put in front of you, and how do we handle that and how do we talk about that. So
Yeah.
um, that's where we take a lot of our pride in with our training is training that foundation as well as the necessary skills to get to that next level.
That's excellent. And I think everyone appreciates that you guys are doing that there because we need more of that in this country, in this world for sure.
Absolutely.
So why developments over coaching at this point, and do you have intentions to get back into coaching too, or like where are things standing right now for Luke?
A little bit of both. I mean, I definitely miss being on the field. That is my home, a happy place. But it is also very nice when in Dallas to be in a air conditioned building with
Yeah,
with a comfortable seat because it gets a little spicy out there. But um, I definitely at some point possibly I've talked about wanting to get back on the field. But with as far as like Infinite goes, this Infinite is a franchise, and this is their first location in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Um, and I've been kind of honored with leading this charge of being the first Infinite in Dallas to because we do want to expand in the Dallas Fort Worth. So want to take care of my responsibilities here, building this culture out, building this brand out, and then slowly make my way back onto the field because I it is a great place to be, and because like I said, there's a lot of life lessons to be learned in the training space, but there's a lot being missed and that I feel like I'm missing that is being done on the field. So um,
and so does that mean Infinite will have a team, or will you be getting a team? Is
we
that
have
not
talked
something that they
about
want to get
that.
into?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a to be determined. Yes.
Got it. Got it. Well, we'll leave it at that. Well, we're kind of get to that point where we bump in about halfway through this, where we're going to take a break for our commercial sponsor here, Operation Player Assist. Well, let me pose a question to you that's always out there, which is early specialization. So, what are your kind of again a multiple point question here that we'll bring back after the break? But what are your thoughts on it? And at what point do you feel like in the baseball world, or maybe even specifically talking about pitching or pitchers, should they start specializing if you believe in that? So quick break. We'll come right back to that question.
As we're talking about the challenges coaches face with young athletes, it reminds me of something that affects every youth sports organization, the administrative nightmare that can pull coaches away from actually coaching. I recently spoke with Jennifer from the Riverside Youth Soccer League, and she told me something that really stuck with me. She said, "We were spending more time managing registrations and chasing down forms than we were developing players." Sound familiar? That's exactly why organizations across the country are turning to OperationPlayerAssist.com. They specialize in handling all those behind the scenes headaches that eat up your time. Registration systems that actually work, automated communication tools that keep parents informed without blowing up your phone, and emergency response protocols that give you confidence when things go sideways. Jennifer's League saw immediate results. Registration time cut in half, parent complaints about communication dropped to almost zero, and here's the best part: coaches could focus on coaching instead of paperwork. If you are tired of administrative chaos stealing time from what really matters, developing young athletes, I encourage you to schedule a free 15-minute demo with the team at operationplayassist.com. See firsthand how they can streamline your operation. Visit operationplayassist.com and click Schedule Demo to book your 15-minute consultation, because when the administrative burden is lighter, everyone wins. Coaches, parents, and most importantly, the kids. operationplayassist.com, supporting the game behind the game.
All right, we're back from our commercial break. Appreciate Operation Player Assist, our sponsor in this podcast series. Luke, the question we posed to you before we left was early specialization. It's always a hot topic in the baseball world. There seems to be more and more of it. A lot of people are against it, especially a lot of the ex-professional athletes are against it. What are your thoughts on it? And then I think regardless of it, there probably is a point in time where baseball players in general might need to start specializing. And then specifically on the pitching side of it, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think all kids should play multiple sports as long as possible. I mean, eventually you should love what you're doing if you're doing it, period. Baseball is, not a game that loves you back very often. So, it's definitely a game that you need to love regardless of, when it's not loving you back. I mean, the same thing goes for other sports too. There's a lot of skills to be learned in basketball, football. My sophomore year of high school, I played tennis because one of my coaches told me it would help my throwing mechanics, my throwing motion. And it's like, all right, well, let's go give it a shot. And like the serve actually kind of helps with your throwing motion. So I think there are a lot of unlocks to be had, physically, athletically, even mentally too, for athletes by playing multiple sports rather than handcuffing yourself, especially at a young age, to just one sport. You're losing out on a lot of ability to grow as an athlete, grow as a person. Just not being able to go through those end of season, move on to the next season, and just have this continuous rolling snowball effect almost, for these young kids. And then they burn out easier, they get more anxiety easier because they feel all this pressure because it's just baseball, baseball, baseball. And
yeah, let's pause on the second part of that question, because I think you bring up a good point, and a point that doesn't get addressed much on these podcast questions that I have posed in the past, which is, it's obvious, right? Or maybe not, but many people talk about the physical side of things, and your body needs a break from doing the same repetitive exercise over and over and over again, and you'll become a better athlete. And athletes are what people want. So you become a better athlete by playing other sports. But you tapped into this, man, mentally, you just need to take a break from it all and check out and go and do something else and be a kid. Like,
yes,
how important was that for you in your career? And talk about that a little bit in a greater depth.
I have three brothers, so like we were doing all the things. I bless my parents for being able to handle the four of us, because we're all four of us doing all the sports, just always moving. But I never felt, as a young player, I never felt that pressure. I felt the hunger. Like I was always hungry for it as a player growing up. Like there wasn't that pressure that I have to do this and this, and I don't know. So it felt a lot lighter to me, and I see it all the time with the kids that I'm working with and training. Like I see the heaviness of these kids that are 10 years old training baseball year round, and it's like I just want them to release it. Like just go swimming. Like forget about it. Like who cares? You're 10 years old. Nobody cares. like, yes, it is important to get the work in, and it is important to, have, like I said, have that foundation of success. But it is not important to have the pressure. The pressure is fake, in my opinion. Like there really should be no pressure on that.
Hmm.
Um, it's really all self-generated because they're they feel like they have to. I mean, especially with the social media world now too. Like, holy cow, that's that's changed the whole world for these young kids too. They're these 10-year old kids see these 10-year-old monsters on social media, and they're like, oh, I have to be that kid. And since I'm not, I suck and this and that. It's like, no, that's apples and oranges, man. Like,
Yeah.
no. So yeah, there was a lot in that realm for sure.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. And I think it's crucial to talk about that of not just the physical side of things, but the mental side of things, and having a clear checkout time. I did that with my own two kids. Of when the baseball season was over or the softball season was over for either of them, my wife and I would literally say, "You are not allowed to pick up a bat or a ball or anything for 2 weeks minimum. If it's a month, it's a month, but." I'm not going to throw flips to you. We're not going to go off the tee. We're not going to the batting cage. We're not going to do anything. When you're ready and you feel like you want to do that, then come back to us. But it can't be before a 2 week period at least. And we tried to really make sure that they had that checkout stage. And I think it's healthy for the parents as well. Like
Yeah.
they need their own time and to get away from the sport and the anxiety or the stress or the undue stress that's put on that sport for sure. So it's a good valid point. I appreciate that. All right, so let me help guide you through this second part of that question, which is let's just fast forward. Let's just say instead of Luke, the left-handed pitcher in 2010 before injury, right? Let's go before injury. Let's fast forward to say that 16-year-old Luke is in 2025. What would you do with that Luke all over again? Like, would you have specialized earlier? What would you do more of or less of? Maybe to have a better outcome than breaking in three different spots and getting drafted 3 years later than you should have.
That's a great question. I've never been asked that, and I've never thought about that. But
Or are you planning on having kids?
oh yeah, absolutely.
So then that's kind of this the same way of looking at it as like, all right, fast forward 10 years from now, and you have Luke Jr. running around, who's maybe destined to be this 6'4" left-hander. What are you going to do with him or not do with him? What you made mistakes in the past, and that's kind of what this podcast is all about. Let's try to reduce those mistakes for other families. What are you going to do more of or less of with your future son or daughter?
Would be definitely encouraging. I did not work out. I did not take like the gym seriously until like I was coming back from my injury. So like all through high school, I don't know, man, I went through emotions. I was in the gym, but because our team had to be there, but I was always just going through emotions, doing the bare minimum. I just I don't know, I did not buy into the like lifting. I ate like crap too. Like I didn't buy into all that stuff. Um, so definitely just encouraging health. Like you have one body. Your body is should be your temple. Um, and you gotta take care of that thing. So especially while you're growing, like if you're if you're growing and feeding your body with good nutrients, getting good sleep, um, working out properly and efficiently, like I that would have changed my life. Guaranteed that would have changed my life. So because I did have like that really big growth spurt, but that whole time I just ate like crap, didn't sleep. Like it was it was really messy, and it could have been set up and prepared a lot better and prepared me for success a lot better. So
Eating, working out, What besides that? What about specific within the sport? Let's just assume that they're a future baseball player.
Yeah, as far as like the pitching side, like specializing in pitching. Me personally, I was, and I still am a little, I hold a little bit of a grudge against it of having the bat taken away from me because I love hitting. Hitting is fun for me. Like pitching to me was always a job and was always hard work. I mean, I say I don't love it. I do love pitching. I nothing better than striking somebody out and watching them slam their bat as they walk back to the dugout.
Yeah.
Um, but hitting was always fun. So when they took the bat away from me, like I was very sad. And I fought it pretty hard my freshman year of college. But I would have still encouraged young Luke to keep hitting because I still think pitchers should practice hitting and still have if they enjoy it and they have that fun with hitting, like hitting is a core concept of the game of baseball. And I think pitchers should still be allowed. Maybe not hitting the games, but let the boys hit. Let them pick up a bat and let them swing. It's not going to hurt them. It's just going to bring that joy back to them and bring them. Because I hit all the time. Even when I was playing pro ball, I'd go in cages and just take hacks just because it was fun. And it brought that joy and brought that kid back in me of, this is why we love baseball. So, um, for all those POs that are out there, just grab a bat and go hit off the tee. Do it. It'll be fun. If you love it, go do it. So
Get really good with the fungo.
you go with the fungo. That's fun too. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so now let's just stay on the whole coaching realm of things, coaching and development and everything that you've been, the space that you've been living in the last 10 years. What have you learned to be some of the biggest overall sort of leadership or coaching mistakes that adults make in this now competitive landscape of, call it club sports? What are some of the mistakes that leaders or coaches or both are making in the club world?
The I would say just the whole tournaments format. I mean, kind of breeds the whole win at all costs and throwing 10-year-old kids 100 plus pitches over 2 days and throwing them back to back days and that I do not think it's great for youth baseball at all. And um, I understand that that's kind of where the money is and kind of where that whole club and travel format has gone to. Um, but I would love to see like a youth like that. I mean, high schools they play league, colleges play league, pros play league games. Like it's one game. The pitchers have plans because that's where a lot of the problems are having in the youth realm is when you're playing these tournaments and playing 5 to 8 games in 2 days. Arms are going to be used and abused. Like there's really no way around it when you're playing that many games and you have 10 to 12 kids on a team. So
So,
um,
so if you're a tournament director, you have control over how a tournament. Let's not go to the league side of things. I mean, let's leave that for a different day. But let's just say that tournaments are what they are in today's culture, and families want to play in tournaments. How should we restructure tournaments to take all those things in consideration? What would be an ideal, call it, tournament structure for you in the current landscape?
I mean, ideally, a tournament is a week long, and it starts on Monday. The pool play games are throughout the week, and it's just to eliminate the 3 games in a day and things like that. Like we shouldn't be playing more than 1 or 2 games in a day. So just lengthening out the days. I think that's really, I mean, and I know that some of the high school tournaments are doing it that way, and I appreciate that. But I don't see the youth side being able to do that just logistically. Um,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, logistically, it's probably got to stay to that Thursday through Sunday or even Friday to Sunday format. But
yeah,
I've thought a lot about. I guess this is to your point. We're Colorado people. We've had to, leave a cold weather state to fly into warm weather areas like Dallas or into Georgia or Alabama or Florida, whatever it is. And in that tournament format, obviously, it's brutal for, as you said, having a plan and managing pitching staffs and managing playing time. But it's also brutal for flying in and out because you don't know if you're going to win
yeah.
5 games or lose your first game, right? And so, do you think there's ever going to be a time where it just becomes acceptable for these tournaments to just say, "Hey, here's your schedule. There's no bracket. It's one Thursday night, 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, 1 Sunday. You fly you can know when you're flying in, you know when you're flying out. You got a 5 game turn, call it a tournament. There's just no bracket. Do you think that's ever going to happen?
I I hope it does. I don't think it ever will. But we can have hope. I mean, honestly, I've thought about this a lot. Like that is the best way to do it. Do it like that. And for the to actually identify major, like, good strong competitors and strong teams, and to really identify a winner, if you go to that tournament per se, and you have 4 games, these are your 4 games, no bracket, and if you win 3 of those games, you qualify, or 4 of those games, 3 more, you qualify for this tournament, and you have to, so just be qualifying type,
Yeah.
round robin type events.
Yep.
And you can enter those round robin events to qualify yourself to the actual tournament that will
Yeah.
draw
The
the
only
the
you want to
scout
have a
ranking.
winner take all concept. Do it at the end of the year and do it in that format. But everything else, there's no reason why it couldn't be just, hey, here's your
Yeah.
5 games. And from a college recruiting standpoint, that way Luke's going to pitch on Thursday, Johnny's going to pitch on Friday the first game, Teddy's going to pitch on Friday second game. Everyone knows when they're starting every single game. There's no juggling act. Yeah, I guess we could go on and on, but maybe I think there's a shot at it. I hope there's a shot at it. I hope it may take some of these larger organizations to have that say, but I think it's also the larger organizations that like to post on social media that they won the thing. So maybe it won't happen. Um, what are some of the things that you guys talk about there at Infinite that kind of maybe you talk about these things late at night, get together, have a drink of these are all the things that that I'd like to change, or the things that keep you up at night that really maybe are a bit more frustrating that you're trying to resolve in the baseball world.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, like, kind of ties back to what I was talking about earlier, like the cookie cutter, like this is the only way. Like if you take this magic pill, you're gonna do it. Like that,
Hmm.
that does not exist in baseball. If that existed, there there would be a lot of millionaires out there just by
Yeah.
giving away magical pills. So, um, just being able to re-identify and restructure that it's not about the team, it's not about the brand, the name on your hat, the bat that you swing. It's about the 2 feet that you stand on, and just going back to that foundation of humanity, and that's gonna not only take you really far in this game, but take you far in life. And trying to get these parents and kids to get out of the social media watch and just comparing themselves to all these social media kids um and the social media teams, and they have to go play for these Pottstown national teams and this and that, and that's the only way they're gonna do it. And that's their, it's like, no, play baseball, have fun, and become a great human being. That's the formula to making it far in this game. Period.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
uh,
We'll go kind of a little bit of a quicker, not a lightning round, but an abbreviated lightning round with some, some faster questions here. What's the best advice a coach ever gave you?
just enjoy. Just it's not that big of a deal. I've been very stressed out on the mound before. Like I've had a lot of I've done a lot of dumb stuff on on a baseball field, but yeah, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like I'm like really hard for me to hide my facial emotions. My coach came out one time, saw I was struggling. He just squeezed my butt, looked me deep in my eyes, smiled, and he's like, "Luke, just have fun, relax, man." And I was like, I don't know, like that, like I said, that heaviness, like I just that walking around with lightness and playing with lightness is what this game should be all about. And um, even coaching too, like when you feel that, that heaviness and that tenseness when you're coaching, like let it go, relax. It should not ever be there. This game is fun. This game is for kids. This game is to teach us life lessons. Let the stress go, let the heaviness go. Find that silver lining to, as a coach, teach something where, we felt that there's a teaching moment in there. Um, but there doesn't need to be, that tenseness of it.
Yeah.
There can't be the teaching without the so
Excellent. And is there advice that you now give kids that you're working with? Is there sort of a regular sort of commonality to the advice that you give?
yeah, love this game when this game doesn't love you back. That's I tell it. And the other thing I've taught my kids too, like, love this game. You train for the team, or sorry, you play for the team that you're playing for. Like you're 12-year-old, you're playing for that 12-year-old team. But every day you train for your next team. So you should be training for that high school team. And when you're in high school, if your goal is to go on and play that college, you need to be training and preparing for that next team and for that next level. So
Yeah, I love both those. Great sound bites that I want to repeat. Play for the team that you're playing for now, but you train for the team that you're playing for in the future. I love that. And then you said this now a couple times of love the game, even though it's not going to love you back, because that is so true. That is so true. Banana ball, good or bad for baseball?
good. I think it's good for baseball. I Some parts of it, like I'm a balk Nazi, so like they're not being boxed in banana ball kind of like I like twitch out a little bit, but so I'm like that's a balk. But I mean the kids have fun, the players have fun. I mean they're good ball players too. I have no issues with banana ball. I mean it's a different, I'd say it's a completely different vehicle than Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. Um they're like my Major League, minor league is for for the competition, for high level, I would say for high level competition. Banana ball, great entertainment, great competition. Like I said, a good talent there, but the entertainment value is second to none. So
Yeah.
uh, I've never actually been to a game, but I've seen them on TV, and they look like it would be a blast.
Yeah.
I have thought about like, could I go play for them? I think it'd be fun, but I don't think I could handle it, man. Like I don't think I got it in me.
You, especially the block part of it. The All-Star game, which is, we're a bit past that now, but I've asked this of some ex-baseball players that that have played. The All-Star game was changed this year, right? With no extra innings, no just a home run derby to solidify the winner. Did you like it, or did you like the kind of the old school way of doing it?
Um, I guess I don't mind. I mean, I'd rather see the old school. I rather see baseball play itself out. I mean, there was a game in Japan when I was playing in Japan. They allowed one extra inning and game was over. I had a tie ball game when I was playing out in Japan. It was the craziest thing in the world. So, um, yeah. I guess it is kind of weird in that sense, but because the home run derby, that puts a little bit more value in the home run derby, I guess. Um, so I guess that's kind of cool, but um, yeah, I guess either way is
It,
fine with me. I would have rather seen
yeah,
him play. So.
yeah. All right, last final question or last final thought here. Um, the best in your long career now, playing and coaching over the last 30 years, I guess. What's the most memorable experience you've like literally the most memorable experience you've ever had? The one thing that pops into your head that you always kind of go to.
Man, um, one moment was honestly my first game in Japan that I pitched. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Um, because the whole time that we were practicing and training, we were just with our team. It was just very intimate. Just we were all just moving around with our team, training, practicing, and stuff like that. And they gave me the opening day to start and walked out 10, 15,000 people. Most people I ever pitched in front of, absolutely electric with the trumpets and the drums and all that. And like, I mean, my heart felt like it was like coming out of my body. Like I was like, this is tight. I'm down for this. So, um, yeah, that was one of the best for sure. I mean,
So
I mean, getting drafted was amazing. Um, but yeah, as far as like overwhelming, like this is what baseball has like brought into my world. That was by far the
still
one.
get the chills a little bit, huh? Some
Yeah.
goosebumps on the. Yep, yeah. I can imagine that. Well, Luke, I appreciate everything. I appreciate all your time, your insight, your sound bites. Definitely, if it's okay, I'm gonna continue to use those because I think they're great.
Please do.
Um,
Yes.
uh, and I appreciate everything that you've done for the kids across the country at this point. You've kind of bounced around, so hopefully you've gotten a place that you can find a home there at Infinite and keep developing kids not only on the field but also off the field, which is truly important and definitely needed in this world. So thanks again, Luke. Appreciate it.
So thanks so much, Tony. Look forward
All
to
right,
seeing you guys soon.
absolutely. Take care.
All right.